Hi everyone, this is Bronislava from HandMadeRukodelky, and today we will knit a hat. For this hat we will cast on 36 stitches, and I will be posting all information about this hat on my blog, so look under my video in the description. There will be a link. Okay, so cast on 36 stitches. When you do that, we will start knitting ribbing, which is going to be knit 1 and purl 1. Okay, knit 1 and purl 1. People who knit in English style, you will do knit 1 this way, right, and purl 1, purl 1, and yarn back for knitting, for knit stitch, knit 1, and yarn forward for purl stitch, and you purl 1, and yarn back and knit, and yarn forward and purl. Now you will continue like this all the way to the end of the row. So I'll just transfer all these stitches and show you how to work on short circular needles, and then I will again transfer stitches to my double pointed needles and show you how to do it with double pointed needles. And I hope that these are short enough. Okay. Now after you transfer your stitches, and if you are a right-handed person, your yarn will be the leading yarn where you will start knitting has to be on the right hand side, okay, and kind of in the back. And if you're left-handed, it has to be on the left side and in the back. Now you make sure that this is not twisted, that it's nice and flat, okay, and you will continue actually working in a circle. So it's in your right hand. For lefties, it's in the left hand, okay, and it's all flat as you see. And I will just, and in the back, okay, not in the front, in the back over there. And now we will just start knitting, but I have this little trick that I always tell people about in each video when I'm knitting in a circle, which means that I twist this when I was casting on, I always take that stitch and I twist it a couple times and add it to this needle, and then I knit first these first 2 stitches. I knit them 2 together, okay, so we will knit these 2 together. Oh my gosh, it's okay, good. Now, and we will just continue knitting. Now remember, this is your beginning, right? But if you want, you can also put a marker right before the first stitch, because this would be the beginning of your row, okay, and then you just knit like before. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and purl 1, and move your stitches as you go along, so it's easy on you to knit on these circular needles. Now let me show it to you with for the ones that knit English style. So you will knit 1 with, you know, with yarn in the back. Right now you will move yarn forward and you will purl 1. All right, and you push this stitch back. Now you need to move that yarn back again, and you need to knit 1, and you will move yarn forward and you will purl 1. Okay, now I want you to knit and purl several rows, and let me tell you how many. I have a prototype hat over here, which I will be redoing a little bit, but let me show you. Okay, this is my prototype. I made it a little bit too long, so I need to actually take it down a few rows. Okay, anyway, so over here I have, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I have 8 rows. If you want to roll up this edge, roll it up, do 14 to 16 rows. If you don't want to do that, knit 8 rows. And I will knit, I don't know yet, I might knit 16 rows just to show you how it will look with 16 rows. Okay, so, and we're coming along over here. So we're knitting and purling our ribbing. Okay, knit and purl, and as soon as I'm finished with this row, see, I don't like to be pushing my, and it's kind of uncomfortable for my hands. I rather really work with my double pointed needles. So I'm going to transfer them now, all these stitches, on my double pointed needles, and you do whatever you want. You either knit on double pointed needles, or oops, or you knit on circular needles. So here I am in my double pointed mode, and like I said, knit either 8 rows of knit and purl stitches, or 14 to 16 rows of knit and purl stitches. And when I am finished, which I think that I will do 16 rows, so it can be folded up, and I'll see you then when I have 16 rows. I'm finished with my part, and I know that it looks awfully long, but once you fold it, it's not gonna be looking so long. Okay, and it will cover up the ears and warm them even more. Now we're ready to work on our pattern, which is this pattern. Now this pattern is very interesting, because you know that it's a repetition of white and blue, white and blue color. This is blue color. or if you choose different colors, you know, then it's gonna be repetition of your two chosen colors. Okay, and in the back, actually, because it crisscrosses, it gets really thick, and also the way it knits, it gets a little bit narrower than this part. So what we need to do is add up couple stitches so it's not so tight in here. I want to add 5 stitches, so I will knit 7 stitches and then increase, then 7 stitches, increase, and that I will do 5 times. Okay, and this row we will just knit entire row. Let's knit this row. Okay, so we will knit, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's add 1 extra stitch, and we can do it over here into this stitch, the one right below it. Okay, or you could do it also in here into this stitch. Perhaps you rather do it here. All right, so you can go and grab this stitch and make an extra stitch. All right, now you will knit 7 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we will grab this stitch and add a stitch. Okay, now we will knit 8 stitches. You see, you don't slip this stitch because otherwise you would lose a stitch. So knit 7 stitches again, and actually let me show it to you with English style. Okay, so you will knit 7 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 more, and now we will add 1 stitch. So we will grab this stitch right here below this one. Okay, and don't drop this stitch, just grab it, yarn around your knitting needle and push that yarn through. All right, and then do another 7 stitches. 1, 2, so we increased already 3 times. All right, so we need to still increase 2 more times. So finish this row increasing 5 stitches, and then I will show you what to do next. And this is my last increase, and I have 1 more stitch left actually, because that's my 36th stitch, because 7 times 5 is 35. So you just knit this stitch. Okay, and you should have 41 stitches if I have it right. So it's 5 times 8 plus 1, 41 stitches, and we do want to have odd number of stitches. Okay, I have 41 stitches, and so I can go and continue knitting. And now what we will do is we will knit 1, we will do all knitting. Okay, knitting, and don't knit too tight, knit semi loosely. Okay, because you added 5 stitches, so you don't have to be too careful with knitting too loosely, but like I said, try to knit on a looser side if you are tight knitter, and if you're loose knitter, just knit on a regular way. Okay, so we will do 1 light color, and we will be flipping back and forth now. Okay, and 1 blue, 1 blue, knit 1 blue. Now put that down and grab the yarn, light color yarn, and knit 1 stitch, and put that down and knit dark color or different color, or color number 1 and color number 2, or whichever way you want to say. And again, color 1 and color 2. And you will continue like this all around. And let me show it to you also in English style. Okay, so I finished with my white, and now I will be working with my blue. And this is gonna be tough on me. Okay, so that's blue, and now white. Okay, and now we started a new needle, so we tighten it up a little bit, because we would have a huge gap over here. Okay, so if you're knitting with double pointed needles, you need to be careful about these gaps between old and a new needle. Okay, now again blue. Okay, let me tighten it up just a little bit, and now white. So we will grab white. Okay, let me make the same, not too much though. Okay, and now blue. Needle through, wrap the blue, let go of the stitch. Okay, now the white one, wrap around. So this is how you will continue if you are English style knitter. Okay, and for continental style knitters and English style knitters, you will do 8 rows. I did on my other hat 12 rows, but it's a little bit too tall. Okay, and I will show you how it will look. Let me show you. Okay, so what you will do is you will count, if you're starting with white or any other color different from here, so you will count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is where you will end up. Okay, I did 12, but I don't want to do 12. I want to do 8 rows only, and then I will have this part later on in light blue. Okay, so work on that. And I just want to show you also another thing. This is where is my part. So you see, because we're working with odd number of stitches, you really don't know where it ends. It just continues. It's wonderful. As you see, I have moved my stitches to circular needles, so I would go and show you my last row, how I am knitting. And let me first show you how I do it in English style. So you just basically switch between the yarn colors, you know, one color number 1, and then you do color number 2. All right, so this is how you would do it on circular needles. And one more time I'll show you. And now again, different color. So as you see, you know, when you have blue color on your left needle, or if you're lefty, on your right needle, then you use white yarn, and when you have white yarn, then you use blue color. Okay, and this is how I do it in a continental style. I just switch between the yarns, one knit stitch at a time, just like English style, except you're knitting, or you're holding yarn with the other hand. And when I'm finished with this row, I will be working on the top of the hat. All right, so let me finish the row and you do the same, and I will show you what we will do then. Also, I will switch to my double pointed needles, especially now when we will start decreasing. The stitches would be spread out too much, and you would not be able to reach with one needle to the other. It would be very uncomfortable and awkward, and you would be stretching the stitches way too much like that. So you will have to switch to double pointed needles also, or use a so-called magic loop knitting, but your needles, the circular needles, would have to have very long this plastic string, okay, because this is what you would do. You would make a loop here, and then you would make another loop here, but obviously this is too short, so I can't do it with this one. Usually for magic loop knitting, when you're knitting hats and you don't want to switch to double pointed needles, and you want to still knit on circular needles, you really need about 30 plus inches long string, so it's easier for you to do those loops. I am here at the beginning of my row where my yellow marker was, and I don't need to use that marker anymore, and I cut off my white yarn, and now I will knit 2 rows, just knit stitches with blue yarn, blue color. Okay, let me push this one up a little bit. So just knit 2 rows, 41 stitches in each row, so basically knit 82 stitches. I am finished with my 2 knitted rows, and this is my 3rd row with the blue color, and I will knit 39 stitches, and then 2 last stitches I will knit 2 together, and in that case I will decrease by 1 stitch, and I will have 40 stitches on my needles all together. Okay, and I'm ready to knit 2 together. Okay, and now we're going into 4th row of blue color only. Okay, and this is how we will do it. We will start increasing, we will start decreasing every 5 stitches. So you should do that 8 times, because 40 divided by 5 is 8. Okay, so we will knit first 2 stitches together, and then we will knit 3 stitches, knit, 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 and again knit 2 stitches together, and then knit 3 stitches. Knit, 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 and do it again. Knit 2 stitches together and knit, knit, and 1 more knit. Okay, and repeat that all the way to the end of your row. And these are my last 5 stitches, which means I will knit 2 together and then knit 3. Knit, knit, and knit. And now we will knit 2 rows. Just knit, no increasing, no decreasing. All right, so knit, I think now you should have 32 stitches, so knit 32 stitches. Okay, so just knit, knit, knit 2 rows. I knitted 2 rows, and now I'm ready to decrease again. All right, and we will do it every 4 stitches. That means we will knit 2 together, and then we will do knit, knit. Okay, knit 2 stitches after decreasing. Oops, decrease, knit 2 together, knit 2 together, and now we will knit, knit, knit 2 together, and knit and knit. Okay, and repeat that all the way to the end of your row. That means you have to do it 8 times. Now I will knit just 1 row, knit all around all the stitches until the end of the row, and at the same time I'm going to switch to a shorter needles. So knit entire row. Okay, and don't get alarmed that I have different needle because I'm switching to shorter needles. All right, I am switched to shorter needles. It's gonna be easier to videotape now. And in this row we will knit 2 and knit 1, knit 2 together and knit 1. Okay, so knit 2 together and knit 1, knit 2 together and knit 1, all the way to the end of this row. In this row we have 16 stitches, and we again will knit all 16 stitches. So just 1 row of knit stitches. Okay, all 16 of them. And now we will start knitting 2 togethers in this row. So knit 2 together and again 2 together. Now we need to move this one and knit these 2 together and 2 together, together again, and move this single stitch onto this needle if you have it just like I do, and knit 2 together, knit 2 together, and last 2 together. And now we will just I move the stitches onto my hook, and we will basically pull the yarn through these stitches. Okay, we will pull yarn through these 2 stitches, and then we leave this long loop, and we will move 3 stitches onto my hook, you may have different number of stitches on your needles, and we will pull the yarn that we pull through first 2 stitches, we will pull it through 3 additional stitches, and we still have 3 more stitches here which we need to pull that yarn through also. Okay, and we will pull it through, pull through, and now we need to tighten it up. Now tighten here and here, so we don't have big huge gap there. Okay, so pull on it so to it in order to tighten it up in here. So you have to figure out which, you see this part of the string is attached to this part, but this is attached to the hat, so you pull on that one, and then when you have that done, then you can finally pull on the entire loop to make it tight. Okay, and then you can either add a pom-pom if you want, but which I will not actually. And I will cut my yarn off and I will pull it inside the hat. With my hook. You can use any hook, just the one that works well with this yarn. Okay, and now I will just weave it in. I will grab it here. I will make one more knot like this. I make a loop and pull it through that loop. That's my extra knot. And then I just will pull the yarn through. Couple more loops over here on the inside, and I will do the same with other tails. So this is our hat, how it looks. Alright, and I basically already measured how wide it is, and it's 17-18 inches in here, and it stretches definitely to like 20 inches. It stretches quite a bit, and it's going to be nice and warm for anyone who is going to be wearing this hat. Perfect for skiing or for very cold weather. Okay, we have a couple finished hats, one with simple edge, one with the one that you can fold up, which basically what I did is I knitted really long one in here so it can be folded up. Okay, and if you like this video, please click on the links below, share them with your friends, share them on social media. I thank you very, very, very much for it, and I guess I will see you later.